Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. And what I want to do before we get into today's video with taking the wire harness back out and just fixing the issues that caused the fire, what I want to do is explain to you guys how wrong I was about the fuel line causing the fire. It wasn't a fuel line at all. After reviewing the video, I have a driver's side exhaust manifold that is attached to the motor. Say this is the manifold and it points down. So all the exhaust gases are pointing down. They're getting away from the motor. The passenger side header is short and it points more towards the firewall. So if you have any type of engine knowledge, you would know that all motors, when they first start up, they dump fuel. They dump a lot of fuel down into these cylinders so that it heats up the motor quicker. So all that white smoke that we were seeing from the right side when it first started up, and all that smoke underneath was just the dumping of the fuel. And what happened is, why that right side caught is all that fuel was just getting wet and wet, just getting sprayed right onto the firewall. And if you notice, it ran for about 5-10 minutes and then the fire caught and it burned. So what happened is all that fuel molecules and stuff just wet up that side of the car. And you know, an open header always has a little bit of fire coming out of it. So it was just a lack of experience that really caused the fire. I do have a fire extinguisher with me now, and I won't be working on the car without one anymore because I really could have outed it quicker if I had one, but we had to run back and forth to a water hose to fill up buckets, and that's what really caused most of the damage, the time that it actually took, because it wasn't a big fire at first, but it turned into one, but we got it out. But yeah, I'm going to insert some footage that you'll see where that smoke, where them heavy fumes of fuel was just burning, or at least was just coming up and down. It was going up onto the hood and also wetting down underneath the vehicle. That's how that fire began. But today we're going to assess what is actually wrong with it and do our best to fix it and get it back running again. So let's get into today's video. Alright, so there wasn't much damage on this right side. As you can see, the wires just were cinched, like they caught a little bit of heat, but only the casing was affected. I'm going to remove the wire harness and check to really see what all has been burned, but most of the damage is to this passenger side. I'm praying we don't have to fix any connectors, but it's looking that way. I really got to dig away all this burnt stuff before I can get to anything, and then remove the harness and really get to see what we can do about those exhaust manifolds, because I'm most likely going to cut the flanges. These are the turbo manifolds or the turbo exhaust that we made for the Marauder. So I'm going to cut these off, these manifolds, just so that the exhaust gases can go underneath the vehicle and don't be building up in the engine bay. But for now, I am going to remove the radiator because the shroud on the radiator is making contact with the fan, and that has to be replaced. The overflow tank or the expansion tank has a hole in it now. Either that has to be patched or replaced. And basically I got to clean up this entire bay. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just junk now. But makes no sense crying about it. Let's just get working on it. Alright, so after tearing it apart, it really isn't as bad as it looks. No major connectors were disconnected, or I'd say can't be used again. All of the connectors are still intact. I need to cut the casing away from it, the casing that burned, and just tape it back up with new electrical tape, and that should be it. A few vacuum lines, one or two coolant lines, and a fuel line, and that's it, back in business. So I need a vacuum to vacuum out most of this junk, and I have to swap out the throttle cable for the one that's in the Marauder because that burned as well. But like I said, for a fire of that magnitude, it was very minimal damage to the vehicle. I think it's because we got it outed very quickly, so super grateful for that. But this sun is getting ridiculous at the moment, so I'm gonna close up and bring the vacuum and electrical tape back when I come this afternoon.
Have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. Maybe that's something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging, painful. It's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. You're worth it. You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Alright, so let me show you guys what I've been doing, except for these wires. These wires are the battery terminals. I go down to the starter, and that is the coil pack harness and the injector harness. I haven't done anything with those as yet, but the wire harness that got really messed up, I just finished taping it up. I've just been cutting breaks in the wire out and looking for breaks in wires to tape up, and that's basically it. This one connector, the connector got burned, but the wires are fine if you take a look. So I'm just going to splice these wires when they go back in the vehicle, and they should be good to go. Throttle cable, I just grabbed the throttle cable out of the Marauder, swapped it over. So now we're looking at like vacuum lines and stuff like that. So it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So hopefully in the next video we can get this thing back started, or at least working on the exhaust, because I'm not going to start this thing again to let this exhaust cause another fire. So that's the plan. Now I still have to work on this harness and get this done today, and I should be good to go. All right, so it's getting a bit late. I finished the external harness that's on the engine side. Holy crap. My hands are filthy. That's from all that, I don't know, guess whatever burned, the plastic that burned. But let me show you guys what I did. There it is. All of the, where you see the red tape is where I had to either cut or patch. And these battery cables have to be changed. Those will be changed. So that's going to be changed for sure. This is part of the internal harness, and I had to cut a lot of it and tape a lot of it. So this is completed. There's a part of it, like I said, that runs into the cabin. I have to splice these back, make sure these get back where they're supposed to be. Focus, man, focus. Camera taking long to focus on this thing. Yeah, it's taking long. There we go. I just have to splice these wires inside, but all the wiring is back together. Super excited about that, because I thought this was gonna have a lot of downtime because of the fire. I need to get an air hose that runs from here to here. Yeah, I need an air hose that runs from here to here, an air hose that runs from here to here, and an air hose that runs from in the back here, this line, to right here. So air hoses, a little more wire splicing, and she should be back on the road. It was super discouraging at first when it first happened, but almost like within a few hours or the next day, I was right back at it, thinking of how could I get this done, how could I fix the problem, how bad really is the problem, and it really wasn't that bad. So this type of lifestyle, I should say, that involves you with cars or anything automotive is definitely not an easy one, because you could even do your best to prevent these things from happening, and they're just gonna happen. I can guarantee you that. It's just how well prepared you are to fight these things, because anytime you're beating on a vehicle where you're drifting or you're drag racing, it's gonna break. That's just the facts of life, and you shouldn't let it get you too down when it does, because you just get right back out there, fix it, get back out and enjoy your car again. But definitely, determination knows no defeat, and I live by that. So as long as I'm determined to do this, I'll never be defeated by it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully we can soon get this Mustang back on the road, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.